Don't look now, but the Rangers are rolling. A 4-2 win over the Ottawa Senators up in the Canadian capital. A great defensive performance, at least for two periods. And they held on after swimming in their zone for a while in the third. But congrats to the Rangers. They do it again on the road. Maybe, just maybe, the season is starting to come together. Hey, everybody. This is Rangers Daily. I am your host, Todd Werwa. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you know when we post new episodes each day, Monday through Friday. Also, leave a thumbs up if you like the content. And please comment, question, whatever you want to put down in the comments section. I appreciate it all. I read it all. It's fun to see what you all are thinking. And please, hey, spread the word. We're up over 270 subscribers. We want to keep growing this thing as much as we can. It's a lot of fun to do. It's a lot of fun to be part of this Rangers community. Let's talk about another win. Fantastic one up in Ottawa. The big question was, could the Rangers build on their momentum from the win over the Dallas Stars at home? And the answer is yes, they could. They came out, they got outshot, they gave up some chances. Ottawa hit the post. Shesty made some saves. But all in all, they jumped out, scored first. Rangers are 12-4-1. They've won three straight on the road. 12-4-1 on the road. They've won three straight on the road. They've won 5 of their last 6 overall. They also scored first. Beautiful goal by Mika Zibanejad with a nice pass from JT Miller. So scoring first, they're 13-2-0 when they score first. So as I've talked about all season long, show up on time and good things happen. And that's what's starting to happen and starting to feel it for the Rangers. They played their first 2 periods. The first period was pretty good road period. They went up 2-0. They capitalized on their chances in the first. Panarin made a real nice play on the boards, pass up to JT Miller, who made a nifty move to kind of pass it up through his own legs to himself, came driving in on a 2-on-1, waited for just the right moment, passes to Mika, who puts it in, 1-0 Rangers. It was his 610th point as a Ranger, ties him with Ron Greshner for 7th most in franchise history. That's pretty darn impressive. Then the 2-0 goal, Berard is in his own corner in the defensive zone, lobs it up out to the neutral zone, out to center ice, and Noah Laba just abuses his man, just checks him right off the puck in the neutral zone, brings it into the zone, and like multiple times just is shrugging off Brady Tkachuk, who's kind of mauling him, and Laba's just fiercely intense on the puck, gets it to Miller, who banks a pass off a skate over to Schneider, who gives it to Gavrikov, who scores from the dot. Yes, Gavrikov scores again. It's his 6th goal, matches his career high, which he's done a couple of times. And what the 2 best parts of that goal for me, one was Berard starts the play and then makes it all the way up the ice, and he's the net front screener on Gavrikov's shot. It was a true 200-foot play by Berard, exactly what the coaches want to see. There was no panic when he lofted the puck out to center ice, and then he busted his butt and he gets down in front of the other goalie. And the other was just Laba's physical play. Coach Mike Sullivan really complimented him and said, with his speed and when he plays physical, he plays that much better. And he said that this was a game where it was probably his most physical in a while. And you could just tell, boy, when that line forechecked really, really well. You can just see when Laba throws his body around a little bit too and uses that strength. Boy, he's a real momentum changer for the Rangers. That third line does wonders in changing the game because now they have some youth and some speed on it and some talent. Also with Will Cooley. They change games oftentimes, and Laba really created that whole play. But compliments to Berard and Laba on that. Also, the 3-1 goal came after a fantastic run of forechecking. I almost made forechecking one of my full discussion points, but over a couple of waves, a couple of straight shifts, they just kept pressuring. They just kept winning puck battles in the offensive zone, pinned Ottawa in. They had guys who were up over a minute and a half in the shift. They finally got a couple of the guys off, but not the whole entire group, and they were out there about 2 minutes, and they finally took advantage. Susie made a nice pass to Will Borgen, who shoots and scores, and it got nervy after that at 3-2, a power play goal after a penalty on a slashing penalty on Miller that no one could seem to find. Sully was not happy. Brady Tkachuk shot the puck, went in off Drake Batherson's leg, made it 3-2, but eventually they get an empty netter and make the final 4-2. But those are the three goals I wanted to highlight. Just great efforts, and just played two really good games on the road, have two really good periods on the road. They swam in their zone a little bit in that third, got attacked, but just like in the Dallas game, after the 4-minute penalty didn't amount to any goals, and they gave up the goal to Rantanen, and like Sully could say, you could just feel on the bench they were digging in to get the next goal instead of giving up and getting down. That was the same way tonight. It got to 3-2 on the power play, and they toughed it out. They grinded, they put more pressure on, and they didn't wilt, they didn't sit back, and then they got a nice empty net goal after it looked like they were just going to pass it around and not necessarily shoot. But another indication that, I hate to use the phrase of the marketing slogan from a few years ago, but that there's no quit in New York. It seemed like there was a whole lot of it oftentimes earlier in this season, but in these last couple of games, and we're throwing out the game against Tampa. I'm just a trash it anomaly, just terrible game. Let's exhume that from our memory. But they're starting to not wilt when things don't go their way. They're having some pushback when they need to, instead of letting a mistake or an opposing goal compound into something more and destroying the rest of the game. So good on the boys for a great win. As I mentioned, Borgen scored and Gavrikov scored again. The defensemen are providing the depth scoring, especially important in the absence of Adam Fox. They've really started stepping up over the last two games. It was Gavrikov and Borgen against Ottawa. It was Susie and Gavrikov against Dallas. It's just so vital because they don't really have a high-scoring lineup. And obviously with their best assist man out, they need more people to step up when you get them from some unexpected sources. The Rangers now have 16 goals by defensemen. It's fifth most in the league. It's not the group that you'd look at and say, oh yeah, those guys are, a Cale Makar, Devon Taves group of defenders. You'd think, oh yeah, that's going to be a high scoring group of defensemen, or like the Sabres with Power and Rasmus Dahlin and that group. Maybe they'll have, high goal scoring totals, and that you wouldn't necessarily look at the Rangers group, but they're providing what is probably a little bit of a surprise, but much needed with the way this roster is constructed. Can it last? Will it last? I hope so. Gavrikov seems like a natural, finding pockets to be able to score and sniping with his shot and getting, driving to the high slot and to the net. We'll see if it'll last, but it looks pretty good so far. Braden Schneider had a good night, had an assist. He was also +3, so much improved from the game against Dallas. In all situations, when Schneider was on the ice, the scoring chances were 15-9 for the Rangers, and with him on the ice, the expected goals for percentage was 71.6. That's pretty good, I'd say. Scott Morrow actually looked pretty good tonight too. Probably his best since he's been up. Uh, would I like to see him quarterbacking the power play? Of course. We won't get into the one power play chance with the 5 forwards tonight. But when Morrow was on the ice, attempts were 21-14 for the Rangers with an expected goals for percentage of 51.28. So on the positive side. So good for him. Hopefully the more this unit plays together, both the Schneider-Gavrikov pair and I guess it'll be the Robertson-Morrow pair. I think Borgen and Soucy already have a pretty good sense of each other, but the two other pairs seem to be coming along quite nicely. Big milestone in this game, Artemi Panarin with scoring the empty net, which he put it in from sort of a tough little angle with a defenseman kind of in the crease, but empty netter, his 900th point. So congrats to Panarin. He's now the 6th undrafted player since 1963-1964 to get to the 900 point mark in 800 games or less. Pretty impressive. He has 10 points in his last 6 games. Quite a amazing career achievement. Sullivan didn't even realize after the game. He's like, I found out when we got back to the locker room it was 900. Artemi wasn't fully aware, though you could tell when they asked for the puck. He was smiling and he realized what was going on. He was all smiles. Great way, he said, great way to get it, scoring a goal and getting 2 points in a big win. So congrats to Artemi Panarin. Did he look so good on power play 1? Probably not. I think we're getting to the point where we may have to start putting a defenseman back there, but we'll see. They only had the one opportunity in this game. And then the captain, we've been on him. I've been on him a lot. I mean, you guys, Twitter, all of that have been on JT Miller quite a bit. Does he look healthy? Is he playing great? How many times can you just beat yourself up? All that kind of stuff. Well, he was pretty good tonight, driving plays. He had 3 assists tonight in his 400th game as a New York Ranger. Obviously, it spans two different time periods, but 400th game as a Ranger. He has his first 3-point game of the season. So congrats to JT Miller. You deserve a night like this. Nice passes. The pass to Mika on the first goal was the whole entire play, just the play he made, taking Panarin's pass and then driving to the net and making the pass to Mika. All of that was phenomenal. So good for JT Miller. That line didn't have the greatest numbers overall. He was caught, like I said, the Laba goal with Berard. He was on the ice, so it wasn't necessarily all his line. His line didn't have necessarily the greatest night. Group that did, Lafreniere, Mika, and Panarin at 5-on-5 out-attempted Ottawa 16-4 and in attempts, and their expected goals for percentage was a whopping 90.25%. So they were driving play. I should have put that in the Panarin section, but JT Miller, the captain, finally stepping up, having a 3-point night. They need more from him. They need more from the big guys, and let's face it, if he can start scoring, and Mika's scoring, Panarin's been hot. If they could get some, scoring out of that third line in addition to the momentum changing plays would be fantastic. If they could get anything scoring wise from Lafreniere, he made some good plays along the boards in this game, but they need more from him in the points column for sure. But if they're getting some goals from the defense and they're getting their top players to start scoring, are they going to be, world beaters and Stanley Cup favorites? No, we know that, right? But this team they play a playoff brand of hockey. And if they can keep playing it and have their stars do what they're paid to do, they can get there. They can get to the playoffs. And, then we'll see. Right? You get a hot goalie. Shesterkin was good tonight as well. It was good up in Ottawa as well. So the Rangers are rolling. It's great to see. We'll see what adjustments they make because it's a crazy weekend with back-to-back against Colorado, who did lose on Thursday, lost their second game in regulation to the Islanders, and then they play the Golden Knights on Sunday. So Colorado and Vegas, just kind of like they had on the road, but now they come to Madison Square Garden. Hopefully the Garden hex is done and they're playing well at the Garden. It'd be interesting to see, had some of those early games been wins, where they really could be in the standings. Some of those early MSG games, if they were just 500 at home, they'd be so much higher in the standings, but it'll even out. Give it some time. Like I said, I think they were 19-19-3 last year. If they can come close to that and keep up winning on the road, well, maybe that's the formula for this team to find success. Anyway, that's Rangers Daily for today. Another win, another happy recap, happy analysis. The boys should be fired up going into a big weekend of games. I'm Todd Werwa, your host. Thanks as always for joining me, and until next time, thanks for watching.